Danite Radio. Welcome to the Counter Revolution.
What happened, bro? I thought you were gonna hold it the whole time. Coward. We've started. Welcome back.
Oh, nice. Our buddy brought his AK, so I was checking it out.
There it was. I hope you heard it.
Well, here I can. That's better.
There it is.
Thanks, bro.
Welcome back. I'm Shadow.
Rock Dog here.
Jace isn't gonna make it this week. He had to work.
What I
You
got?
guys got a problem, bro.
He's a workaholic.
Hey, I'm Chase. I'm a workaholic.
Dude, do they have meetings for workaholics?
They should.
Yeah.
They should. We've also got our...
He might should pick a better vice, like cigarettes.
Cigarettes are dope. And you can do those and work. They make a good cross addiction.
Oh, yeah. Maybe he shouldn't pick that up, though.
All right. We also got
We got a couple of guests
a
for
couple
y'all
of
this week.
lurkers. Hamilton, our employee,
Yep.
fancies himself a welder.
I'm okay. 5 out of 10.
And Jocelyn, his friend,
Hi. That's
also
it.
known as Felicia.
Only known as Felicia.
Okay.
So,
Well,
first
these
question for Jocelyn. Who's handsomer, me or Shadow?
Uh-oh. Hot seat.
We will be upset about the answer, so choose
Oh,
wisely.
you will
One
be
of you has a
offending one
wife,
of us.
right?
Yes.
Which one?
Well,
Dang,
probably the
that's-
handsome
Actually,
one, right?
we both
Cold.
technically have wives. Shadow's probably...
Oh.
Is he asleep in the other room?
No, he's in Nebraska.
Oh, Nebraska. Okay.
Poor guy.
I wish he listened. He
Nate's-
would really appreciate
Nate's a good
that.
wife, man. Yeah, not better than my wife, but she's a good wife.
Good save, bro.
Shut up. All right.
Smooth.
Right
So,
on.
there, she went with Rock Dog there. And I am offended.
Oh,
I am
nice.
truly offended.
I was hoping she'd say you, so I could be like, I'm taking my shirt off.
Oh, then I'm glad she picked right.
Yeah.
I don't have to see that. I've seen it
Dang
before.
it. Right on. All right. Let's start with Hamburgini first.
Okay.
Hamburgini. How long did you do kickboxing for?
So me and my friend went for, I guess we went one time, and then I went a couple times after that.
Do I need to switch this, or are we? It's too late now.
We're going with it.
I'm sure
I'll
they're
listen,
right.
I'll listen to it and see how the
I'll
sound
just talk
does.
a little louder.
So
Picking up.
you and your friend went what?
Me and my friend, we went one time for like...
This guy?
We did like a Groupon thing. It was like $50 for a couple weeks. We went once together. And then he got busy with work and stuff. And I went, I think for 2 weeks. Almost every day. Because they weren't open every day, obviously. And I met another guy actually from high school. His name's Parker. And he would compete. He was good enough to compete. So I hung out with Parker sometimes. Got some pointers from him, but I didn't go for 2 weeks, not super long.
Here's the thing about competing in martial arts: you don't have to be good; you just have to be stupid enough to do it. You have to be a
good
That is a
thing.
hot
Neither,
take.
You have to be a
folks.
good man. You have to be a grown man willing to be like, well, there's not really any money in this, and I could really get hurt, but I'm going to do it anyways.
Sounds like fun. Sure.
Sounds like every other sport.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Right on. What's your friend's name?
Tyson.
Tyson.
Yeah, Tyson's a cool guy.
Nice. This is sweet.
You got a quick off-the-cuff nickname for Tyson?
I call him Thyson.
Tyson.
Thyson. TH.
You got great thighs over there, Tyson?
I don't know.
No.
Pull your
He's
shorts
like,
up a
they
little bit.
exist. They're attached to me.
All right, Jocelyn. You know why you're here?
Uh-huh.
All right. Dope. Jocelyn is a... how would you define your belief in God?
I consider myself agnostic.
Agnostic. All right. Meaning you think there is a God, or you just don't know. You're waiting for proof.
No, I don't think there's any way to actually prove whether or not there is or is not a God.
Mm-hmm.
I lean towards the belief that there's not a God, but there are also agnostic theists out there who do believe in a God. They just don't think that it can be proven necessarily. Either way.
Yeah, we were talking about that in the car.
So, your belief is there could be or there couldn't be, or your belief is there's not one and there's no way to prove it?
Personally, I don't believe in a God, but I can't say for a fact that one doesn't exist. So I recognize the possibility of one.
How old are you again?
23.
23. Okay. And you were raised religious or no?
I was raised LDS until I was, I would say, really stopped around 12. I was baptized when I was 11.
Uh-huh.
But my parents split. Family just kind of slowly moved away from the church. My dad still is in it, kind of. But,
Yeah.
yeah. But,
So, before we get into that, what's your aspirations in life? You going to school or anything? Going to college?
not going to school currently. Would like to. Just working a lot.
Where you work at?
I work at a pizza place in Provo.
What do you want to go to school for?
Potentially culinary school. If not, something in digital media, graphic
Nice.
design or something.
Why aren't you doing it? What's holding you back?
That's a good question. Money, time.
So I'm hoping that if we humanize you, then our rabid fans won't jump down my throat for not ripping your throat out about the God issue, but we'll see.
Because that's not our intention.
That's not our
And it
intention.
has never been.
Okay, so wants to be a chef or a digital mediaizer? Right now is a pizza chef. What's the pizza place?
Ma's Pizza.
Moz?
Yeah, they're super good.
It's
You
right
guys should
here
go
on
eat there.
University.
Moz? Is it pronounced? I thought it was Mod. M-O-D?
No,
No,
that's
it's different.
different.
Oh,
Place.
okay. Oh my.
M-O-Z-Z.
Ma's like mozzarella.
Oh, Moz. That's
Are you
right.
wearing their hat right now?
Yeah.
Ma's Pizza.
Dude.
It's like one of those real
That's
fancy.
good.
It's like
yeah, it's
gourmet
like
pizza.
gourmet pizza.
Right. And what's Mod and not gourmet?
I
Mod
don't
is
know,
like
probably is.
It's more of a chain. It's similar style pizza, but
lower quality
All right.
for mod pizza.
Hot pizza
Lower
talk,
premium.
folks. Okay. So, why do you shy away from the word atheist then if you don't believe in God?
because atheist is just a firm belief that there is no God.
So you're not firmly set on?
I think that there could be.
Mm-hmm.
Atheism is a religion in and of itself. Perhaps.
It's
Oh,
hard.
for sure. It's brutal. It's brutal. Yeah, all you atheists out there, you are some of the most dogmatic religious people I've ever met. So,
For sure.
okay, and I'm dogmatic.
Yeah. Brutally dogmatic.
So, all right. I'm trying to think of how to get into this debate. You open for debate?
I'll try my best.
All right.
I'm not.
So, Hamilton said he's asked you this question before,
Which one?
but
He's going to tell us all at the same time.
So, this here is a pretty complex machine, correct?
Sure.
Do you think that it's a cell phone for all you for all you people not watching us? Do you think over millions and millions of years this could be formed through natural processes?
I suppose not. It's a man-made thing. I don't.
Sure. But the human body is a far more complex machine
Yeah, definitely.
that computes at a higher level, also feels emotion. And you think that could be formed over
Yeah.
millions of years by accident?
Yeah, I do.
Why is that? What's the difference that you think that?
What's the difference between a person and a phone?
Yeah, what makes it so that man, a far more complex machine than that phone can be formed over millions of years, but the phone can't be formed over millions of years.
I don't really know how to answer that question. I mean, like, obviously, I think consciousness plays a huge part in that.
And so you think consciousness is a natural process? Is what you're saying?
Well,
Or is consciousness a requirement for
there's no
creation?
right or wrong answer.
No.
We're just interested in what you have to say.
I don't necessarily think consciousness is like necessary for evolution, because plants evolve too, surely, or whatever. But I don't know. I guess I'm just confused. I can't. I don't really get the phone thing, because it's like a machine made by man.
Sure. But a human being is not a machine to you, in a way?
In a way, yeah, but it's like a biological machine, not a
Sure.
technological one.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a big difference in my mind.
So how do a biological machine and a technological machine differ? And I'm open to they are different. I'm
Sure.
I'm curious for logic's sake, how do they differ?
Like, I get, the mechanics of it. There's some kind of similarity, but, like, I suppose one is self-sufficient. Like, one charges itself, one motivates itself, the other one is reliant on outside.
So really, one has a spark of conscience.
Do we know that, though? That human beings charge themselves?
We eat food.
Yeah.
We sleep, drink water.
That's not us charging ourselves. What happens in sleep that we recharge?
Oh,
We don't understand it.
there's a book about that.
I was reading a book
and what does the
about
book
that.
say?
Dawson read the book.
I want to get into that book. And, cleans up adenosine and whatnot. And I don't want to.
Claims what?
It cleans out the adenosine in your brain. But there are tons of things that we
I can live
do
with
not
that.
understand about sleep.
But
I
we
get
have
that.
processes where we have to plug in, right? Just like that cell phone does.
Sure. I guess just the main difference to me is that
We can do it ourselves,
do
and
it
the phone
ourselves.
can't do it. So we're just a more complex machine that can do it.
I suppose, yeah.
You got a thought, Hamilton? Feel free to interject.
Well, it was a while ago, the difference between phones and people is, I think one major thing is we made the phone, and I feel like people can't make things more complex than themselves, because like animals, they work on instinct because they don't have self-consciousness, and they can build things, right? Like beavers build homes, and dams and stuff. But they can't get past a certain like intelligence cap to create more complex things. But we can. I feel like maybe consciousness plays a part in that, where we can sort of separate from instinct, and we can increase our intelligence through recording of history, and we can try things because we think of different things, and then we can just progress.
Right. And so when this phone becomes more complex than us, then what?
It won't.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Have you read Ray Kurzweil or listened to Elon Musk, who's trying to get to Mars because he's scared that this is going to get more complex than we are?
I mean, I would be worried about like artificial intelligence. I think that is where it meets humanity, but I don't think we'll ever get there.
So what if, and it's mixing fields here, of course, but you take cloning, for instance.
Mm-hmm.
Is that not the creation of biological machines exactly like we are? Or genetic mutation is the alteration of biological machines exactly like we are. If you were to mix them with artificial intelligence, could they not, in theory, become more complex than we are?
They could, but that's just that's like speculation. That's theory. Unfortunately, we're not there yet. But also, fortunately, that would be terrifying. I do not want something that we made to be like us. That's not a living thing.
I got news for you. We're headed that direction.
Yeah, dude.
We're trying.
Yeah, we're. So I'm with you that it might not happen. There's a lot of, but there are a lot of incredibly intelligent people who say it is happening and we're on the way and we should be scared. But so at what point, when machines develop consciousness, will you believe that humans are just machines that were created by?
I guess to understand your question a little better,
Mm-hmm.
are you saying that at a certain point, if AI or whatever gets to, human level,
Self-aware.
yeah, right,
Mm-hmm.
Should I believe in a god? The idea that we were created by a
No,
higher
I'm
being?
not telling you to believe in anything.
Sure.
I'm just asking you, why is it that you think that this was created, this phone, heading toward self-consciousness with machines, but you don't think that humans were created? A self-conscious machine with far more complexities than this cell phone as of right now.
I guess I just think that nature is the master creator. I don't, that's what I see as the creator versus a being.
So I don't want you to feel like I'm gaslighting you. Just to clarify your position, a human being can be formed over time through natural processes, is what you're saying.
I believe so, yeah.
Okay. That's not what I believe, but it's an interesting belief for sure. So let's move on. It's more likely to you that the Big Bang happened, there was nothing, and then bam, there was something.
I mean, I'll be honest, I don't know a lot about it. I'm not an expert on
And then, I don't know a lot about it
anything. Just
either.
to
But I
preface,
know
I'm
that
not
the
gonna
basic
try and
theory is we don't know what was before.
Right.
And then there was a bang.
Mm-hmm.
So it takes faith to know that there was something before or that something can happen out of nothing.
Mm-hmm.
There's also...
I think the current leading theory is that there was a God particle. That's what it's
I thought
nicknamed
that
in science.
CERN disproved that. They can't find the God particle.
Oh, did they? Is it
I
disproved?
don't know.
That's the latest.
I know that's why they built CERN, and CERN hasn't found any sort of God particle.
The last I heard is that the universe existed and was infinitely small and infinitely dense, and eventually collapsed in on itself and then expanded. And that idea is based on, I believe, on the death of stars.
There's just...
How stars... What happens with a star when it supernovas and then becomes a black hole.
Sure. Which the interesting thing about these scientific theories, they don't disprove God. Like the Big Bang could have been set off by God. He could have been the one that did it. He could have collapsed the star. The thing that I struggle with is there are a lot of coincidences as to the way this planet is set up, the way it's pretty unique. Like they say, there's billions of stars, there could be infinite life out there, and then you start narrowing down what, like if the Earth was 4 inches closer to the sun or something, life couldn't happen. And it might not be 4 inches, but it's minimal.
It's very small.
Life couldn't happen. Without Jupiter to draw asteroids off, there's no way life would survive on this planet. The moon, just the way it is, has to be set,
Mm-hmm.
So, which all points to a designer in my mind.
I understand that. I in my mind, the way I see it, in an infinite universe, the possibility of everything, I think, is almost 100%. So the chances that we're all here right now are tiny, but I think the chance that we're set in the right place, I think it's bound to happen in such a vast universe. And I think it does happen. I'm sure it happens there more.
So the argument is that statistically, when you're dealing with odds to infinity, it's going to happen
Yeah, that's how.
sometimes.
So we all just hit the jackpots, what you're saying?
I suppose.
Interesting.
So then my question is this. With all that in mind, what is the point of it all?
What's the point of it all? I don't.
And that's a big question to ask because you're 23 and I'm 24.
Yeah,
Like I get it. I get the gravity of the question that I'm asking.
Yeah,
I
well,
get-
I'm 33, so it's not that gravitatious to me. Gravitatious.
Good word.
That's a big word, bro.
Look it up.
No.
Okay.
What do you mean by like the point of it all? You mean like life or just like
What's the purpose of life?
the point of existence, the point of life. Those are
Why are
very
you here?
Similar questions. Yeah, why are we
They're-
here?
wow, they're-
I mean, obviously, I don't know. But also, and I know that it's a hard thing for a lot of people to wrap around, but I don't necessarily think that there has to be one.
Interesting.
I know that sounds like, it could sound hopeless, but like, you know, if I don't think that there's a purpose for me being here, but then that gives me the opportunity to create my own.
And if you don't believe in God, I feel that's potentially the only acceptable answer to that question is there is no purpose.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah, I find that. Yeah, I struggle so hard with that too. Like that's where me and like my major issue with atheism, because I just have to have that purpose. And I might just be because I'm a weaker person. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but I don't understand how people live without that purpose. You know, and even when I was rebelling from the church, I had a purpose there too. You know, and then I came back, and now I have another purpose, and like I still suffer like from depression and lack of motivation with that purpose in my life, you know. And then I don't get how people do it, you know. It's amazing to me, and it's not a bad thing. It's a strength that I just don't have. So I go ahead.
Definitely humbling to think that you don't really have one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I guess I'm motivated by other things. Like, if I believe that there's nothing after this, you know, death is inevitable, there's nothing after, then it, you know, I could. And then why wouldn't I try to live my best life right now? Is the way I see it. Like, this is all I've got, so this is what I'm glad
you brought that up.
gonna do my best.
I'm glad you brought that up. How do you
How do you judge what's your best?
No.
Sorry.
How do you?
Jump in the gun.
How do you explain your morality then? Objective morality without God. Because, and maybe this is part of my thing. Maybe I am a psychopath that needs a terrifying God to tell me what to do, or I do bad stuff. Like I've never understood people's natural morality either. Like when I wasn't in the church, and when I fell away from the church, and I had friends that weren't members ever, and then they draw their lines of morality, I'd be like, but why though? Why would we draw the line there? What's the point? You know, I don't understand why you wouldn't do this if it benefits you. You know, I don't understand why. How is your best life not stealing from the place that you work in order to have a better life, or screwing people over around you when when you're just going to die and go to a black hole anyways?
I mean, speaking for myself personally, you know, the things that make me happiest are the people and the things around me. So, like, it's counterintuitive to me to say, like, well, why wouldn't I just, you know, go out and say F the world and do my own thing, or steal from my bosses? You know, like, my bosses are incredible people that make me happy, so I want to do my best for them and with them. And
okay. That's acceptable, but there are 7 billion people that you have no idea who they are in this world, so why not start screwing them over?
I guess I don't know where it comes from, but I don't know. It's just the love for the fellow person. That sounds cheesy and stupid, but like,
I have a theory where it comes from.
It doesn't sound cheesy. I just don't have.
Bingo,
The
nailed it.
Are you talking about?
I don't have that natural instinct. You know, my natural instinct is
So I'm saying, like, speaking for myself personally, I can't speak for everybody.
So
I don't know where everybody's natural motivation or morality
Sure,
comes
and
from.
so I don't understand. I don't know. And a lot of people, like, anti-religious people, just knowing, like, I'm religious, like, you should definitely want religion in my life. You know? Like, Sam Harris is, do you read any Sam Harris or...
I'm not.
So he'd be a valuable asset to you in your atheism. He's very well spoken and articulate. But so you don't listen to him at all, or he does a podcast. He's super. Do you meditate at all?
I have. Yeah.
So
it's something I've
he's big
practiced.
into meditation. He tries to use meditation to get people to replace their religion. I think it backfires on him because any religious person that meditates, I think, just grows closer to Christ. But he, I was going somewhere with Sam Harris. What were we talking about before? Sorry, I do this.
Morality?
Meditation.
Morality. Oh, he just...
Why he should want religion in your
he's
life.
trying to destroy religion. He thinks that religion is this toxic thing, which I don't know if that's how you feel. But I know this, like, without a scary God telling me, look, bad things will happen to you if you do bad things to other people. I'm not doing good things, you know. I'd just as soon bury my neighbor in my backyard as have to deal with him, you know.
Yeah.
And that's a bad neighbor. I have good neighbors that I'm like, I love you, you know. You're cool.
That's good.
You bring me tamales on Christmas. But
I wouldn't murder you unless you had something I wanted.
yeah.
Just don't stop bringing the tamales.
Just
But-
in case they're listening.
So, I know. You're right.
I think you guys think
I
this
would
podcast.
never.
Yeah, you
Nah,
guys
way more
do
people
think this.
than-
You got to check the views
Nah,
before you. So,
100,000.
oh, how rude.
Ooh, 35.
Are you saying we're not popular?
No, you're so popular.
She
Why
nailed
would
me
I
about
agree to
it on the
this?
last podcast. So.
So I don't. So I guess I haven't let you answer. How does objective morality work without God?
I don't know where morals come from. And again, I can't speak for everybody, but
And I guess I understand you have this natural morality, which is great. Most people do. I don't understand it, but congratulations, you know, you hit the jackpot. But what,
I don't think it's jackpot when most people.
let's see, how do I put this? How do you blame somebody for not having that same morality you have? How do you request somebody gets put in prison? How let's ask you this. How do you feel about Black Lives Matter? Are you into that at all? Or do you follow politics?
I would kind of rather not get into it. I don't. Like, I know about it. I don't follow politics that closely.
Okay, well, we don't have to get into it. I'm just wondering, like, how do you blame somebody for burning down a city when they feel like they've been unjustly treated?
When they feel they're
How
justified.
do you blame somebody for killing their neighbor if their neighbor lips off to them or is rude? How do you blame somebody for beating somebody up for cutting them off in traffic if there's no God to tell you that morality is?
I guess the main thing, I just don't see it coming from God. I don't. Like, morality is a tricky one. That's one that I have a hard time wrapping my head around for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Where it comes from, why,
Right.
you know, why I think this is right, why I think this is wrong. Because obviously in nature, you know, those things exist. And they don't have.
They don't have.
Like, I guess the difference between us and animals is, like, we have, you know, guilty conscience or whatever. Like, I don't know where I'm going with this, but,
Whoa.
like, and I don't know why we have that and they don't. I don't know why it's okay for one animal to murder another, but I don't feel right murdering my neighbor. You know, I don't know. I can't say. And I think that's one of the reasons why I maybe lean towards agnosticism versus atheism is because there are unexplained things that I'm like, yeah, it could potentially be God. Who am I to say that it's not?
Sure. So you're open-minded. That's good.
Yeah. Some would call it convenient.
Those people.
Who would call it convenient? What did they say? They want you to be atheist, so they're saying it's convenient that you...
Yeah. Some people.
It was me. I just think that, like, being agnostic is like, oh, well, there could be a God. Oh, well, maybe there isn't. So it's just kind of like...
It's got its conveniences, in a way. So you get to not have the burden of guilt for not following God's rules without the guilt of saying that denying God outright, which you may feel like isn't a sin, but I think innately in every person that's a sin that they might not even recognize, that denying God. But I also think there's convenience to shadows and mind belief, which is, we get the comfort of having something on the other side, that sins will be, there will be justice on the other side, that we can be forgiven of the sins that we've committed. But there's also convenience in atheistic beliefs. You don't have to follow that morality. You get to choose what morality you follow, and everyone's like, wow, it just comes natural. Like, not for everybody, and what comes natural to you might be different from what comes natural to somebody else. So there's convenience in all beliefs. I struggle with that, and it happens a lot. Like, oh, how convenient for you that you believe this or that you believe this. Like, we all just choose what we believe in the end, and and then we search out evidence to fit it, and the truly open-minded people can change their beliefs, and some people never do, but to say that, well, it's convenient that you believe this, so it's easier for you to believe this than it is for me to believe this is, like I've said, an atheistic life for me is a hard road, probably ends in prison or dead in a bar fight or something, but
probably prison. I think they'd have a hard time taking it.
and the terror of nothing on the other side is it would be hard for me to handle. But there's comfort in what I believe, just like there's comfort in what you believe,
Yeah, definitely.
and we choose what gives us comfort, and then we choose what to kind of shove down and ignore as far as questions asked. I'm sure there's got to be a question you'd ask a religious person, and feel free to ask us, just like the questions we're asking you, to challenge our faith.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like making a habit out of challenging faith, because I know that relationships with God or any religion, your relationship with that is an incredibly personal thing. And I think whether or not, like, I would say that mine is, like, my beliefs are pretty personal as well. Whether or not it involves a higher being. There are a lot of things that I think about that, are personal and get emotional. And so, like, I think the idea that it's convenient for me to believe one thing or another, to me, makes me feel like I'm choosing my beliefs based on what the people around me will think about me. And that's just not it. So it's just not intuitive to me. It doesn't make sense. Like, the idea that, like, you pick this because it's convenient, you're just trying to avoid.
I want to touch on that a little bit. The idea of convenience in belief. I was having a conversation with somebody who I'm very close to, who I'm not going to name for, they might be kind of mad that I'm sharing this story. That's why. But we were talking about...
Wait, who is it?
We were talking about just like the next couple months, what's coming. And I said something to the effect of, yeah, you never know. We could all be dead. And they said, yeah, that'd be bitchin'. Pardon my French, but that's the exact quote. And that is an attitude that is convenient because we can adopt it having full faith that there's something on the other side. And generally the idea of death is a pretty hopeless and scary thought when there's nothing but darkness on the other side. And not always, that's not always the case, but I'm speaking generally. And I know for this person and myself that it was a lighthearted conversation and just a joke. But that idea was very comforting in a way and very convenient to believe because we know that everything will work out based on the convenience of that belief. And so what belief in general boils down to, you're choosing between the things that bring you the most comfort. That's what belief is. The things that you believe bring you the most comfort. And some people, for the life of me, I can't understand why, have decided that atheism is the most comfortable belief for them, and that's the one they stick to, and they dig their heels in, and they drive home with atheism, and that's their choice. And for me, that doesn't cut it. That obviously doesn't make the cut. That is not a comfortable belief for me in any way, and it's not a logical belief for me in any way either. But people are comfortable with logic, and they're comfortable with the idea that there is no God, and so that's the belief they choose to stick to dig their heels in and live with for their entire life. And I am not that way.
Yeah. As far as like the fear of what comes next or whatever, the idea of nothing, I guess the way I think about it is it's kind of silly to be afraid of nothing. Like, it's definitely a romantic idea, you know, the idea of an afterlife, the idea of eternal family, and that we're going to be happy. Like, yeah, that'd be incredible. Like, obviously, sure. But at the same time, to me, what I think it is nothing. You know, that's kind of what I tend to lean to. And, you know, there's no guilt, there's no sadness, there's no anger, there's no family's not there, there's no happiness either, but it's nothing. And then to me, being afraid of nothing is silly, I guess. Like, I don't see the point in being afraid of nothing. Death is inevitable.
Which brings me to my next question that I love to ask atheists. Do you hope that you're right? Do you hope that there's no God, or do you hope that there is a God?
I've thought before, and there are some things about religion that, like, I wouldn't go so far as to say are toxic, but there are some things that I question and some things that personally I have a hard time seeing and believing. And I won't get into that because it's like that stupid classic, you know, like, why would a God let suffering? Like, I get why he would, you know, like, I get, like, the idea of we're here to learn and here to suffer, and here, you know, that's why people are on Earth. I understand that. At the same time, you know, to me, I guess if I didn't want to believe that I was here just to suffer, then why would I? You know, why wouldn't? I guess I don't believe I'm here really for anything, so it's not that. But that idea too, to me, doesn't make a whole lot of sense in the idea that we're here for one life and then there's an afterlife. You know, that idea makes more sense to me in light of, like, reincarnation, I guess. Like, if we're actually here to learn everything, then it would only make sense to me that we would learn everything versus just living. Because obviously I've had different lessons than all three of you. You know, I can't speak for any of you. You haven't learned the lessons I have. So that idea to me doesn't make a whole lot of sense. That we're just here to live this one life and then we get the afterlife. And I don't remember what the original question was. I kind of got off on a tangent.
Do you hope you're right? Do you hope God
Do I hope
doesn't?
I'm right? Yeah. No. You know, of course, the idea of an afterlife is way better than the idea of nothing.
Good.
I get that. I just...
Sure. You're just not sure. It just seems a little too convenient for you.
I wouldn't say that.
So, I think that I would struggle with that idea as well. That we're only here to learn from this life, and that's all the experiences we get. But fortunately, in my religion, we continue learning, you know? So, the only way to be damned in my religion is to stop progressing, which means to stop having experiences and stop learning, you know? So, I'm with you. That seems like that doesn't make any sense to me that you would just go to heaven and sing to Jesus and bam, you're done, you know? That's not how it works in my mind either. So,
Because if we have to go to heaven and sing to Jesus, I don't want to go.
dude, why does Jesus get punished too, you know? Having to listen to me sing.
He has to listen to me sing every Sunday, and
He's like,
he hates it.
Father, why hast thou forsaken me?
For eternity?
For eternity. So, I'm with you there. I think it doesn't make any sense that we are, geez Louise, we're here to learn, and I think we're here to master our bodies, both physically and mentally and spiritually, so that when we get to the other side, we can become all powerful without the pettiness of a human, you know, because that could spell disaster, I think. And it's also interesting because my religion obviously doesn't believe in eternal torture. You know, we're not going to go to hell and get skinned by Satan every day if we sin. Our punishment is damnation. You know, we stop learning, we stop progressing, we stop growing, and
removed from the presence of God.
And yeah, removed from the presence of God. And our ultimate punishment isn't even torture; it's blackness, right? So,
I mean, I don't know.
it's interesting that the ultimate punishment in the
is the same idea as atheism.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
That'd be weird.
Kind of weird.
So perhaps both sides will get to the other side and find out that they were right.
They were right, yeah. I think that any atheist will have a hard time denying the Savior to his face. Except I hope Bill Nye does it.
And his punishment is Rocky gets to go down there and hit him in the face every day.
I'd never punch him. We just get to heaven, look down on the flat earth, and I go, ha! That's what I'm hoping for. I'm not even saying the earth is flat. I don't know enough about it, but I hope it's flat so I can yell in Bill Nye's face about it.
And my punishment is I get to watch. Ha!
Cool.
So,
We digress.
Cool. No questions us, huh? You don't want to challenge our faith? You don't want to try and get me to not believe in God? Come on.
No,
Come on, proselytize for your beliefs. Now's your chance.
But I mean, again, I think that implies that I'm atheist. I'm not. I think that there could be a God. Y'all could be right.
Oh, we're right.
That's fine. That's fine. I get it.
Dig those heels in, pony boy.
I don't know.
Oops.
I don't know. I feel like. I guess I don't have any like big pressing questions because this is something that I've had plenty of discussions about, and I guess with my beliefs, I'm more of like an inward. You know, I try to find them myself, and that does involve sometimes asking the people around me their beliefs. But I don't know. I have a hard time challenging what people believe.
Yeah, me too. I struggle with that.
Clearly.
It's very hard.
All right. Sweet.
Should have come more prepared.
No,
for the
you
question,
did
I
fine.
suppose.
Okay.
You answered our questions. I think we got both our beliefs out there. The only person that really teed me off was Hamilton, but that's just what he does. I think that's why he was put in my life, was to pee me off. So it's okay.
P is short
It's
for
okay, bro.
piss.
Sorry, I try to be quiet all the time.
It's all right, bro.
Don't wanna-
I don't want you to be quiet. I just
I want you to shut up.
don't want you to say the words you're saying.
I want you to pick different words.
Just kidding.
So I guess if we're pretty close to done, I think I probably have a story that I want to share before we close out. Is that all right?
All right, bro.
It's easy to look back on my life. Not that it's been particularly long, but it's easy to look back and fail to see God's hand if I'm not careful. I've been extraordinarily blessed in my life. I grew up with I grew up never wanting for anything. I wouldn't go on a limb and say that my father is a rich man, but he's richer than me, and he took good care of us. And we
Except for the affections of an older brother, you did want for those. I'm sorry I couldn't be there for you, bro.
I had two that missed out. No, I'm just kidding. So it's easy to look back and just say, where was God in that? I was raised by a good man. He was good. He was good because of his religion, sure, but he was good nonetheless. And perhaps that's arbitrary. Perhaps he would have been good either way. I was raised by...
Thor's got a natural morality that blows my mind sometimes. But
It's astounding.
He is a good man, a great man. But continue. Sorry.
And it's okay. And I was raised by a good mother who was good because of her religion, but perhaps is the same way as Thor and has a natural morality that would have been there either way. Perhaps it was arbitrary whether or not they were in religion. And so it would be very easy for me to look back and say that there is no God. That's an easy leap to make because I've been extraordinarily blessed and I have lived very comfortable, partially because of the country that we live in. That's just the majority of people live blessed here. And that's not to say there aren't problems. I'm not getting political. There are problems. I know that. I'm aware of that. But my life has been very blessed. It's easy to look back and not see God. I've said that over and over again, and I can't stress that enough because there are also experiences in my life where I have seen God. I have had experiences with siblings where I have seen the hand of God. And I have had experiences with my parents where I have seen the hand of God because they are a God-fearing people. And without God-fearing people in your life, there's no way to see the hand of God because we don't look for it. It's an easy thing to overlook when we're well taken care of. And that's not to say that there aren't hard things that happen to all of us. Those are also the hand of God because he will have a humble people and he will teach them to be great. And it's only through struggle that we can do that we can be great. And without fail, the people that struggle the most are the ones and see God are the ones that look back and say, I've been extraordinarily blessed. The good Lord took care of me. And it's because he's real. I believe that. And I've seen him in my life countless times. He is real. He cares about each and every one of us. And he built us as complex freaking machines. And that's a weird way to look at it, I know. But he is a divine designer, and he is wicked smart. And he exists. He's there. That is perhaps and hopefully the most challenging thing we say to you today. Look for him. Take time even just this week, take time and look for him in your life. Try praying or meditating. They work similarly.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you've tried before. I'm sure you have had experiences with it before. Try again, because belief in God is worth it. Belief in God is worth it.
Yeah, I understand that. I guess it's a little paradoxical to me, because, like, I've been told that in order to feel God, I have to pray earnestly. And, like, in order to, for me, in my mind, to pray earnestly, I have to
You have to believe in God. Yeah, it's a paradox.
So brutal. I guess that's just where I have a hard time.
Sure.
But I'll take your words.
So, in response to that, I say this. Believe in God. No, I'm serious. Choose to believe in God this week. Like we said, the choice is convenience mostly. Choose to believe in God this week. It sounds paradoxical. That's the point. It sounds ridiculous, and that's the point. But choose to believe in Him. Pray and see if He's there.
See if that choice is affirmed.
Yeah, it's an exercise.
I'm sure you've had Moroni chapter 10 shared with you. It's the one that talks about you take these words and then you pray about them. And if you pray about them, are you familiar?
Kinda. I mean,
I'll read some of it with you. It's very important.
This can go for anybody too, even good Latter-day Saints. Take a moment, reset your belief in God, and pray like you understand that He loves you more perfectly than you can understand. Go ahead.
I would exhort you that when you shall read these things, if it be wisdom in God that you should read them, that you would remember how merciful the Lord hath been unto the children of men, from the creation of Adam even down until the time that ye shall receive these things, and ponder it in your hearts. And when ye shall receive these things, I would exhort you that you would ask God, the eternal Father, in the name of Christ, if these things are not true. And if ye shall ask with a sincere heart, with real intent, having faith in Christ, He will manifest the truth of it unto you by the power of the Holy Ghost. And by the power of the Holy Ghost, you may know the truth of all things. The reason I share that with you, he outlines a process. It's a very simple process, but he outlines it for us. First you read, or first you ponder the teachings of God, and you choose to believe in Him. And then you go to God and you ask Him, are you there, or are you not real? And you challenge Him, because God is waiting to be challenged by us. He's waiting for us to say, do you exist? Prove it to me. I've done these things. I've shown my faith. I believe in you. Now prove it. And then He will. That's the promise that He makes. He will. Or He will not. And if He doesn't, go your way. It's easy. But it's paradoxical. The first step is belief. The first step is choosing to believe that God is real. And I can see Hamilton struggling with it right now. He's like, that doesn't make sense.
Well, no, it makes sense.
That sounds wrong.
I'm still stuck on just believe in God for this week.
Why not?
It's not like, whoa,
it's an
exercise.
Yeah, it's an exercise. It's a thought exercise.
I guess I just can't.
In order to prove the existence of God.
I get it.
It's kind of weird.
Yeah, I guess it's just hard for me to just jump into that belief, because in the way that you've seen the hand of God, I haven't. I haven't felt those things. I haven't.
And
that's my favorite way to pray, and this can be life-changing if you believe in God. Kneel and say, Lord, what could you show me how you feel about me? Show me your love and your the way you feel about my purpose on earth, and see what happens. What's the worst could happen? Pray for love from God, Maybe you'll feel love and maybe you won't. But
I mean, I've prayed in desperate times. What's the difference?
Yeah.
Sure. 100%. So.
Nothing beats a prayer of faith outside of desperate times.
So, right on. I think we've pushed this issue. I don't know. Do we make this a Godcast or what do we do?
I don't know.
We'll make it a guest cast.
We'll think about it.
It doesn't need to be a Godcast.
Thanks for coming on, though. I mean,
we appreciate having you. And we really enjoyed having you.
Thanks. I tried.
All you fans out there, sorry we didn't strangle her to death on air for not believing in God, but next time we'll get on that.
I appreciate.
She's sitting there like, I don't know. rough. You guys
She's
are
not
bums.
wearing a mask
I'm
either, so that's
Thankful
good.
For God right
Get
now,
like 5 of
because
us.
I'll be
All
walking
these
out of here.
People, our fans are rabid dogs for.
Well,
You have to destroy your guests. How dare you let them live when they come into your basement? Sorry, fella.
I should be going.
But
Finish her. They want me to like.
Okay.
What's that one move in
Kombat.
Mortal Kombat where like I
finish.
suck you into my mouth and then blow out all the bones? Is that the?
Wow.
Who is that?
Mortal Kombat. It sounds like the girl with the creepy
It's the
teeth and
chick,
long
yeah.
tongue.
Bones come out.
The Undertaker.
The Undertaker. Get out of here.
Because he don't got no blood.
What kind of nerd are you? All right.
Alrighty. Thanks for listening.
Yeah. Hey, check us out at Teespring. Got some cool shirts up.
Probably should have done that before. That's okay.
Like and subscribe on YouTube and on wherever you get your podcasts.
Yeah. Follow us up.
Feel free to comment. You can even thumbs down. That helps the algorithm too. So
Just let us know
whatever
why.
it takes. No, you don't have to let us know why. We know why. We're not very talented podcasters.
Oh, for the life of him, Rocky cannot keep a thought in his head.
Great podcast.
Please don't hate me.
Alrighty, folks. We'll consider that pushed, and y'all have a blessed week.
Boom.